Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala and I am Professor Suganya Devi from Kumaraguru College of Technology, and today we are going to see about eco standards for dyeing and furnishing of textile materials. For the last few decades, awareness on sustainable development and green textiles has taken place, and development is planned to reverse the natural resource destruction and conserve a healthy environment. Ecological considerations are becoming important factors in the marketing of consumer goods, including textiles, all over the world. Exports of textile goods must therefore be in a position to adopt their goods and processing techniques to comply with new environmental regulations being introduced in their target or niche markets. What is ecology in textiles? So, ecology in textiles, production ecology is the consideration made on the environment during the production of goods. For instance, in textile industry, textile wet processing industry utilizes huge amount of water, and disposal of untreated water onto the environment has to be considered. Moving on to the human ecology, the considerations that are to be made on the product during usage by the human. Third one is disposal ecology, and this is the considerations that are made on the product after use. That is, the product has to be either degraded or reused after its usage. What are eco standards? Eco standards are norms that are formulated to address towards solving or dealing with environmental problems. So, not only environmental problems, the economic and social aspects are also incorporated in the eco standards that are framed. So, the norms are developed on analyzing the product's entire life cycle. So, entire life cycle is from cradle to grave approach, that is, from extraction of raw materials to the disposal of product after usage. As we have earlier seen that environmental considerations are very important, and firm has to follow the eco standards that are mentioned. So, eco labels are a voluntary scheme which can be chosen to label a product by the producers, importers and retailers. Eco labels are an official symbol that shows that a product has been designed to do less harm to the environment than similar products. So, by obtaining these eco labels, manufacturer or an exporter certifies this product as it has been followed the eco standards. So, these are different eco labels. EU eco label is from European Union. So, any product which has to be exported to European Union has to obtain this eco label symbol, and eco mark of India symbol. So, it is given by the government of India. And the third one is confidence in textiles tested for harmful substances according to OEKO-TEX standard 100. This is the precise label given for processed goods, textile goods which has undergone dyeing and finishing process. So, this table shows different eco labels from different countries. MST is from Germany, and OT and OEKO-TEX is from Austria, very stringent label for precisely for textile dyeing and wet processing units. Clean Fashion from Germany, Steelman from Germany, these are two independent labeling authorities. EC Eco Label, that is from European Union, and Eco Mark is Indian Eco Standards. So, now we move on to the product related eco standards. There are several product related standards thus stipulated for textiles. An obligation to label close to skin products containing more than 0.15% of formaldehyde. In case of formaldehyde content above a quantity of 1500 mg per kilogram in textiles, these must be marked by the declaration that the product contains formaldehyde, and has to be recommended that this garment should be washed before first use for better skin compatibility. Total prohibition on the use of pentachlorophenol, halogenic carriers, chlorine bleaching, and all supplies are expected to be free of carcinogenic substances and from acutely toxic dye and supplementary material including organic chlorine and fire resistant chemicals. Dyes containing benzidine are to be avoided. They are known to produce toxicity. Substitutes for dye containing benzidines are mineral dyes and pigment dyes. No halogenic dyestuffs containing bromide, chloride and fluoride besides urea should be used. Deliveries containing nickel should be clearly marked when the content is higher than 0.5 microgram. The following be phased out: chlorinated paraffins, dibutyl phthalate, nonyl phenol ethoxylate, octochlorostyrene, etc. And heavy metals and pesticides, there are limits that are specified for arsenic, lead, cadmium, mercury, copper, nickel, chromium 3, cobalt and zinc. The main important aspect is dyes and chemicals used during textile wet processing. Azo dyes. Some of the azo dyes release specific amines as a result of reduction of cleavage of bonds. So 4 aromatic amines are definitely known as carcinogens and are banned. 2 naphthylamine, benzidine, 4 amino diphenyl chlorootoluidine. So 20 such amine releasing azodynes are also banned apart from this 4. So moving on to the toxic and harmful substances used in textile processing, right from fiber growing to the packing. So cotton growing, so should not use pesticides that are banned like DDT, Dieldrin and Aldrin. During sizing process, pentachlorophenol is used as a preservative, but this has to be avoided. And chlorinated products during scouring has to be avoided. Hypochlorites and chlorine bleaches has to be avoided, and azo dyes containing aromatic amines, dyes containing traces of heavy metals, formaldehyde and as mordant has to be avoided or replaced with other dye stuff. Finishing. Formaldehyde as cross-linking finish, urea formaldehyde has to be avoided or alternatives to be used. Stain removers should be stain removers containing carbon tetrachloride has to be avoided. During packaging, wooden boxes treated with insecticides should be avoided. So now we move on to the alternatives in textile processing. So chemicals in use: instead of chlorine bleaching, peroxide bleaching can be used. Benzidine based dyestuff can be eliminated by using eco-friendly dyestuffs. Acetic acid can be replaced by using formic acid. Starch based warp sizes can be replaced by polyvinyl alcohol and acrylates. Kerosene in pigment printing should be avoided, and instead of kerosene, synthetic thickeners based on polycarboxylic acid can be used. Polyester cotton 2-stage, instead of dyeing polyester cotton in 2-stage process, single class dyes can be used and dyeing can be carried out. Carding oil and antistatic lubricants can be replaced by using non-ionic emulsifiers. Formaldehyde can be replaced by using polycarboxylic acid. Pentachlorophenol, which is a banned one, can be replaced by benzothiazole. Alkyl phenol ethoxylate can be replaced by fatty alcohol ethoxylates. Sodium sulfide, which is extensively used as reducing agent in sulfur dyeing, can be replaced by using glucose based reducing agents. Following this eco-auditing procedure. Eco-auditing is a systematic, documented, periodic and objective review of the facility, operation, practices and products related to meeting environment requirements. It is an assessment of the textile unit with regard to their conformance with norms or criteria stipulated in respect of certain eco parameters. The eco audit report thus reveals the eco status of the unit for taking appropriate corrective action. The eco auditing performed on textile units can be classified into 2 categories. They are product audit and production audit. The various aspects covered under these 2 audits are: product audit it is the assessment of conformance of the textile goods to the eco parameters. Use of textile goods, pollution caused by their use, disposal and recyclability of textile products after their use. During the product audit of the textile unit, necessary information regarding the use of fibers, dyestuffs and textile auxiliaries is to be furnished along with the safety data sheets obtained from the suppliers of the item. Further, the textile unit has also to give a liability declaration on the information furnished by them during the course of audit. Now we move on to the production audit. In production audit, the raw material, the textile auxiliaries used should be furnished. It also takes care of the energy, water, working conditions, pollution of air, water and soil. The purpose of eco audit is to establish a continuous chain of information obtained from the company's response to the questionnaires will enable the auditing organization to have an initial assessment of the products including the fibers, dyes and other textile auxiliaries used by the audited company. Subsequently, weak point analysis of the product as well as the processes are conducted on the basis of audit findings, and the necessary assistance and advice are provided for the production of ecologically optimized textiles. If the eco auditing conducted on the textile unit is not satisfactory, then only testing of the textile product is taken up from various eco parameters in order to ensure their conformance with the criteria stipulated. However, if the eco auditing is found to be satisfactory, eco labels are issued without the testing or analysis of the textile parameters. Precautions to be taken by Indian textile industry to comply with the eco regulations. First one is to procure dyestuff and textile auxiliaries only from a reputed manufacturers. Second one is to insist on providing safety data sheets for the dyes and textile auxiliaries procured. These safety data sheets will tell whether the materials procured are free from amines and also the latest prohibited chemicals. Do not procure dyes and chemicals in loose packages. There is always a possibility of contamination in such case. Hence, chemicals and dyestuff should be purchased in sealed packages only. Check the commercial name, CI number of each dye procured and ensure that they do not have figure in any red list, negative list or banned list. Use only the latest shade cards of reputed manufacturer. This is because they have already withdrawn the harmful dyes from their shade cards and provided alternative where possible. Go for eco auditing of the textile unit, which will enable the firm to access their eco status. Insist on liability declaration while procuring fibers, yarns, grey fabric, finished fabrics, etc. These goods are free from harmful and toxic materials. So to conclude this session, it is the responsibility of the producer, retailer and consumer to manufacture and use green textiles to make sustainable development of the textile industries. Dyes and chemical manufacturers and the textile processing industries to come together and arrive at a meaningful solution to tackle the problem